Good evening, dear women. Today the whole lesson is going to be Bezrat Hashem about Rachel Imeinu, זכותה תגן עלינו. First we'll ask Bezrat Hashem that in her merit, Bezrat Hashem, שיגיע המשיח, צדקנו במהרה בימינו, אמן. אליהו הנביא, אליהו תשבי, אליהו בלעדי במהרה, ונמשיח בן דוד, אליהו הנביא זכור לטוב. אמן כן יהי רצון. We will start with Rachel Imeinu with Megillat Ruth. You remember Ruth that married Boaz? And you remember that Ziknei Yehuda, the old people of Yehuda, blessed Boaz when he married Ruth. And they said to him, Yiten Hashem et haisha הבאה אל ביתך כרחל וכלאה אשר בנו שתיהם את בית ישראל. Which means God is going to put this woman in your house, just like Rachel and Leah. She will be just like Rachel and Leah, that built, both of them, the house of Israel. The whole house of Israel. And you know, one lady over here said something very nice. She came to me and said, isn't there a grammar problem over here? Because you're talking about Rachel and Leah, and it's written Shtehem. In Hebrew, when we talk about women, it's supposed to be Shtehen. And I said, no, there's no mistake over here, because this is how it's written in Megillat Ruth, Shtehem. And the second question that comes up when you see this sentence, look, it says, הבאות אל ביתך כרחל ולאה אשר בנו שתיהם את בית ישראל. Both of them, Rachel and Leah, built all the house of Israel, all of this Knesset Israel. But we know she's Sarah, Rivka. What about them? Sarah, Rivka. And then we have more than that. We have Zilpah, and we'll have Bilhah. So how come only Rachel and Leah are mentioned here? It seems very weird. And more than that, it says Rachel and Leah, weren't they sisters? They were twins. Twin sisters. So isn't this also a big question mark? We know by the Torah that you are not allowed, a person is not allowed to marry his wife's sister during her life. Why? It's because that God says, I don't want to make her sad. That she has a sister also married to her husband, and then she will feel like jealousy. So God said you are not allowed to marry two sisters. During the life of your wife, when she's still alive, when she passed away, you are allowed to marry her sister. But during the time that she is alive, you're not allowed. So this is halakha. You are not allowed to marry two sisters. Wait, we'll answer all the questions. Everything by its time. Bezrat Hashem. And I would like to tell you, know who said that? This is another question. So it said two sisters, שתי אחיות, נכון? And there's another question. You know who said this sentence to Boaz? Ziknei Yehuda. Ziknei Yehuda. Yehuda was the son of whom? Leah. Yehuda was the son of Leah. So it's very weird. Why didn't they mention Leah before Rachel? They said Kerachel Belea, why didn't they mention first Leah? And you know that the children of Leah were the firstborns. First the children of Leah were born. Okay, 4 of them were born. Then Rachel gave Yaakov Avinu Bilhah, and then she gave birth to 2 children. Then Leah saw that because she stopped getting pregnant, so she gave her maid to Yaakov, Zilpah, and she gave also birth to 2 children. Then only after that we see that Leah gets pregnant again with 2 sons, with Issachar and Zvulun. You remember the Dudaim? I will talk about it. So because of Reuben that brings to his mother Leah the Dudaim. Dudaim is a plant, a special plant. He gives it to her in B'chodesh Nisan, on the month of Nisan. He goes and takes it. It's spread in the land of Israel, special places. This is a special plant. It says that it has special cure abilities for getting pregnant. Now, that's what it says. So he brings the Dudaim to his mother, Reuven, and then Rachel comes to her and says, please give me those Dudaim, this plant, to me, and you can take Yaakov this night. So Leah goes out of the tent, dresses up, goes to Yaakov, and tells him, tonight you're coming to my tent instead of Rachel's tent. And how does she know that he comes? You know, that's why Issachar, Chamor Garem. Why does it say Chamor? Chamor is a donkey. Because she hears the donkey when he calls Yaakov when he comes back. So she hears the donkey, she knows Yaakov came back, she runs straight out of the tent towards him, and she takes him to her tent. God blesses her with 2 more sons, Issachar and Zvulun. And then only Rachel brings children. She bears children. One is Yosef, and then the other one is Binyamin. So look, so even her children came last after all of them got pregnant, and they had already 10 sons. And you know that each son had also a twin sister. Each son had a twin sister. And then we know that also after Zvulun, Leah had another daughter, which her name was Dinah. She didn't have a twin. And Yosef also did not have a twin. He did not have a twin sister.
Because Dina was a boy in...
Wait, I'll explain this.
Yeah.
It's a good note. It's true that Dinah was supposed to be a son. Leah was supposed to have another son. But look how righteous they were. Leah said to herself, God, I have already 6 sons. The 2 maids that are married to Yaakov, each one of them brought 2 more sons. We have Gad and Asher, and then we have Dan and Naphtali. So together we are 10. And we know that Yaakov is supposed to have 12 sons. So now, if Rachel won't have a son, and I will have the son, she will be shamed. So please make that my child is going to be a daughter and not a son. She called inside Zilpah and Bilhah. They all davened for Rachel Imeinu, and it says in the Gemara that the child was switched. She had a daughter, and Rachel had a son, Yosef. It's beautiful how they davened, but listen, we'll say the whole story, Bli Neder. So now we have all the questions. Why did the children of Yehuda, the children of Leah, mention Rachel first, and then they mentioned Leah? It's a very big question. So I would like to tell you. First, we'll answer one by one. First of all, I would like to tell you that Rachel was akara. Akara means she was childless. She couldn't bear children. And it says in the Midrash, you don't call it akara. It's not akara, but ikar. Ikar, she was the essence of the house. Because of her, all the children of Yaakov were born. Only because of Rachel. Because look at the plot of the story. Why it's Ikar Abayit, she is the essence of the home. Because when Yaakov sees her, after 14 years that he studies Torah in the yeshiva of Shem Be'ever, he goes to Haran. On his way, when he's in Haran, he sees the shepherds. And there he asked them about Lavan. But then they tell him, you can see that his daughter is with a sheep. And she's coming in, Rachel is coming, so he sees her. Once he sees her, it said that he starts to cry. It says he looks at her, he kisses her on her forehead, and he starts crying. And it says, why did he cry? It says that when he saw her, he felt in his soul that this is the other half. This is what she is, the other, but she was too small to get married to. She was too small. When he married them, Leah and Rachel, they were 22 years old, the Gemara says, and he was 84 years old. So it says that she was too small. So he looked at her and he felt that his heart, his soul wants to be tied to her. Because of her, he worked 7 years for Lavan. And he got married to Leah. And when he knew that in the morning, Lavan told him, I cannot give you the smaller one before the older one. So then he says, finish the 7 days of Mishted. From here we learn that you do not mix Simcha and Simcha. You are not allowed to mix Simcha and Simcha. He says, finish the 7 days that you celebrate for the bride and groom. Finish that, and then you can marry Rachel, and then again work for me 7 years, for 7 years. So we see over here that and then what happened? He marries Rachel. She can't bear children. She's childless. And she tells him to take Bilhah, her maid. Hamei, Bilhah, and Zilpah, both of them are the younger sisters of Rachel and Leah, but they are not from the same mother, they're from the same father. With his mistresses, he received Zilpah and Bilhah. It's from the Torah Shebaal Peh. So it says that they were also half sisters because they came from the same father, but they did not come from the same mother. They came from the mistress of Lavan. So we know, and look how Lavan was so armumi, connivous, sneaky. It says, look how he gave Leah, Zilpah was the youngest. Bilhah was older than her. So they used, this was the minhag, that the youngest one goes to the youngest as a maid, and the oldest goes to the oldest. In order that Yaakov Avinu will not know that he's cheating him and giving him Leah, he gave Leah Zilpah, that was the youngest. So he thought if he gave her Zilpah as a maid, it's sure, for sure this is Rachel. So look how small details, Lavan went to small details in order to cheat Yaakov. But then we see that Rachel causes Bilhah to marry Yaakov, and two sons are born, Dan and Naphtali. And then because of that, Leah sees that, and she copies her and says, well, take Zilpah, I can't bear more children. I gave you 4 sons, then take Zilpah. So he marries Zilpah, and another 2 sons are here. So all of the sons of the children of Israel that came from Yaakov Avinu was because of Rachel Imeinu. Everything was because of her. Rachel in Hebrew is a sheep. Rachel, the kipsa, is sheep. That's Rachel in Hebrew. But she was more than a sheep. She wasn't only silent. She didn't, we can see that Leah goes and does actions. לא, הפירוש המילולי של רחל זה כבשה. כן, רחל זה כבשה בעברית. רחל זה כבשה. כן. Rachel is a kipsa. I would like to tell you that Rachel is a sheep. The translation of Rachel is sheep. So Rachel, it's true, everything that she does, you see she's silent, she doesn't say anything when Leah takes her place as a bride. It's not easy to see that. She does not say anything when she sees all the presents that Yaakov sends her through her father goes to Leah. She sees that her father comes to Leah and says, you see, those are the presents that your groom brought you. And she knows that all of the presents are supposed to be hers. She does not, she's like a sheep, she does not say anything. But on the other hand, she's the one, not Leah, that goes with the sheep to the well in order that they will drink from the well. So she's also a leader. She's not only a sheep, but with her silence and her modesty, she's also a leader. She knows how to lead. She was the cause of that. All the 4 were married to Yaakov and 12 sons were born. Because of her. That's why she's the essence. And also the old people, the old men of Judea, they also knew that only because of Rachel everything was possible. Only because of her. All of the wives of Yaakov. You know how much thought a woman should have? And look, and it says, why doesn't Sarah and Rivka are also part of it? Because they were also, because of Sarah, Yitzchak was born. Because of Rivka, Yaakov was born. We can't do without them. So why aren't they mentioned over here? Because Avraham Avinu had also Ishmael. And Yitzchak Avinu had Esav as a son. One Rasha, one wicked one, and one a good one. So each one of them had that. That's why they are not mentioned. And Zilpah and Bilhah, their children were like the sons of Rachel and Leah. They were the wives that they also married Yaakov Avinu. But their position was lower than those of Rachel and Leah. Those are the ones that were really the true wives of Yaakov, both of them. And the question is, why do we say shtehem be'ivrit in Hebrew in a b'lshon zachar, in a male word instead of shtehen in Hebrew? Because both of them, if you look, they behaved like a man should behave. A woman should be modest. Leah, what did she do? She went out of her tent and she told him, you're going to come to my tent. Like usually the woman should be, just with signs should tell her husband. If she wants him, it says in the halacha that if a woman wants her husband, I know that today it's not like this exactly, but it's beautiful how it used to be. It says that in the halacha, a woman should be shy and modest. She should dress up for her husband. she would look nice for her husband, to greet him when he comes. And with signs, she will show him that she wants him. Only with signs. She won't be, rude and come to him and tell him, I want you right now. But this is what Leah did instead. This is what a man should do, not a woman. And she came and did exactly what I'm telling you right now. She came to him, and it says in the Midrash like this. She said, Elai tavo, you're going to come to me now. It's like a order. And then what does Rachel tell him? Rachel tells him, Havali banim, I want from you sons. So it's like an order. So they took, but by saying that, it's like orders from a male. Ma?
Because probably they knew they had the Ruach HaKodesh.
היה להם רוח הקודש, אבל because of that, because they took this is hints how we should behave. It's not only written over here stam, just from the pshat. It's also hints. From here comes all the halachot. Like I told you, why don't we mix simcha and simcha? Because we see even Lavan said you have to wait. You have to wait until we finish the 7 days of celebration for Leah as a bride, and then you can marry Rachel. Then from here we know you are not allowed to mix simcha and simcha. אסור, בגלל שכל שמחה צריך לחגוג אותה לבד. לכן אסור לערבב שמחה בשמחה. אם יש שני חתנים ושתי כלות, כל אחד עושים להם בנפרד.
וכמה זמן צריך להיות?
7 ימים, 7 ימים משתה. כשמתחתנים, 7 ימים משתה, 7 ימים שחוגגים לחתן וכלה. זה משהו אחר. בדרך כלל, listen, Jewish people did not celebrate their birthdays. The person that we usually the men of the Jewish people celebrated their brit, the time of the brit milah, not a birthday, the day they're born, the day that they came into the brit of Avraham Avinu. And I would like to continue.
אם שני בנים מתחתנים עם שני בנות, אז אסור? שני חתונות ביחד?
לא טוב שתי חתונות ביחד. כל חתונה בנפרד, כן. כל חתונה, every wedding should be alone. We should celebrate for each one of them separately. היו עוד... כן. That's when they do, for example, we take and gather all of the bat mitzvah.
No. Brother is 13 and sister is 12, so they are doing together bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah.
It's different months, but they are just combining party together.
It's just party together.
I'll tell you something. Usually bat mitzvah we do not really celebrate. רק סעודת mitzvah we do for bat mitzvah. And bar mitzvah we do celebrate by going up to the Torah. אז אני מדברת על סעודת מצווה. That's סעודת מצווה you are talking. אבל אני מדברת על really because the son goes to the Torah. The real celebration for the real celebration, I'll answer the questions. Listen over here. The real celebration for bar mitzvah is when the son puts the tefillin on his hand and reads from the Torah. This is the real celebration that he came to this age, that he gives zchut and married to his parents. Until he comes to bar mitzvah, all his sins come on the parents. And then from the moment, that's why that father says, Baruch shepatrani me'onsho shel zeh. Thank you for taking away from me his punishments. That's the father says. Because everything comes on the parents. But from the day of the bar mitzvah, when he comes to mitzvot b'shah tova, everything is on him, and now he merits his parents. Every mitzvah that he does, every time that he reads from the Torah, everything that he does goes as a merit to his parents. Okay.
Only if they receive a Jewish education. The parent doesn't give a child a Jewish education, like he does a bar mitzvah. So how much is that child really responsible for himself? He can get the Jewish education.
אי ידיעת החוק אינה פוטרת מעונש. Listen very carefully. It's important that parents will send their children to yeshiva. They should know where they come from and where they're going. Even if they don't know, God still tells them. You know what he does? He tries to wake them up. He sends people to tell them, you should take your son to yeshiva. He goes to this person, to this boy, and tries to give him hints by people around and by things that he sees. And sometimes we do not see all those hints because our spiritual eyes are covered with physical eyes, and sometimes we do not want to see what's really in front of us. Dear women, Bezrat Hashem, I think, I would like to tell you that when we come to Hashem, B'Yom Adin, on Judgment Day, God, we don't have any excuses. We cannot say we didn't know. We cannot say anything because we are exposed to everything. We know that we are Jewish. The Yetzer Hara tells us, the evil spirit tells us, why should you do that? It's hard work. Everybody will think that you're crazy. Why do you need to do these mitzvot? Why do you need to bless all those people? Why do you need to do this and that? This is the evil spirit that wants to have you, to grab you in your hands, in the soul in her hands. Because this world, everything is about the war between good and bad. It's a big war between good and bad. Either you receive merit in this world by doing mitzvot and maasim tovim, and this is the clothes that you're going to have for the olam ha'emet, for the next world. And if you don't receive that, God forbid, shalom nedam etzarot, you're going to go to have several things, bad things that will happen to the soul after it separates from this world. And nobody can have any excuses because every soul before it comes to this world, every Jewish soul, before it comes to this world, receives like adracha, they take the angels everywhere to paradise to see what happens to the righteous people, and they tell her, you should be righteous in this world, you should be righteous in this world. And then when she comes up, they ask her, why weren't you righteous? We told you to be righteous. And then there's the judgment day. You cannot run away from it. You can say whatever you want. You have to keep Shabbat. It's not maybe, ulai. You must keep Shabbat. You must be modest women, because when God created us, you must. There's no question mark about it. Because what God created us, He said, Hey tznuah. While He was creating the woman, He said, be modest, be modest. It's part of our essence. We have to be modest. Modest in clothes, modest in the way we speak, modest in the way we walk, modest in everything that we do. That's modesty. And where do we learn that? From Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, from our foremothers. From there we learn that. So we must, it's not a question mark. We try to do that in a good way, but in our essence we all know that we must follow this way. So now that we know that Rachel and Leah were the essence of the house, I would like to tell you, it says, Velelavan banot, it says, Velelavan shtei banot, it's written like this, Velelavan shtei banot, Lavan has 2 daughters, shtei banot. And the Midrash says, don't read it, al tikri banot, ela tikri bonot, which means don't call them 2 daughters, but call them builders. Builders, bonot. Look at the Hebrew letters. We're going to learn about the letters. You'll see how beautiful. Because they built the house of Israel. From them the whole tribes came out. And when...
name was Bonu. Now I understand what...
No, bonot. במדרש כתוב את זה. And I would like to tell you, dear women, when Rachel tells her husband Yaakov, Hava li banim, she says Hava li banim. If you look at the word Hava li banim, look at the Hey, it's 5. Bet is 2, numerical value is 2, and the other Hey is 5. How much is it? Rachel was supposed to have 12 sons. She knew that also Beruach HaKodesh. She was supposed to have the 12 sons. But you know what happened? I'll explain to you. Now we're going to go to swim with the story of Rachel and Leah. It says in the Midrash that Rivka had 2 sons, Esav and Yaakov. And then Lavan had 2 daughters. It's written over there that Lavan had 2 daughters. Leah and Rachel, 2 daughters. And everybody knew that Leah is going to be married to Esav, and Rachel is going to be married to Yaakov. Agdola, the older one to the oldest one, and the younger one to the younger. Everybody knew about it. So it says that Leah used to go to the streets, to the outside, and ask people that are going, Olchim B'Shavim, what do you know about Esav? He told her, Umelistim et habriot, he's such a bad person. He rapes, he kills, he steals, everything he does, shalom nedam etzarot. And she used to stand and she used to cry. כתוב בלאה עיני הרכות that her eyes were so soft. Why? Because even her eyelashes fell because of her. They fell down. They went out of her because of her. Yeah, because of the crying that she cried so much. She cried so much that she didn't have risim. She didn't have eyelashes. She used to cry to Hashem. She used to shout to Hashem. It's written, "Mima'amakim karaticha Hashem." David HaMelech says, "From inside me, from my heart, I called you Hashem." From this place that the evil spirit cannot touch. There's a place in ourselves, a special place in our soul that the evil spirit cannot touch. She cannot. The evil spirit cannot touch. So from there, she shouted to Hashem. And it says when she shouted to Hashem, you know what she did? She tore the judgment that she had on her, that she was supposed to marry Esav. You know what happened? Instead of marrying Esav, she even married Yaakov before Rachel. Do you understand how she changed everything that should have happened to her, and why? How this can be? How come this can happen? I will answer the question.
What was after Israel? What here?
Slicha?
In the sentence.
Israel, רק Israel.
And after that, what?
That's it. There's nothing. That's a sentence. It ends with Israel. שבנו את בית ישראל. So, Leah, I would like to tell you from. It says like this. Harizal says, גדולה צעקה שקוראת גזר דינו של אדם כל ימיו. It says that if a person shouts from his bottom of his heart, it says that then it tears all of the judgment. It goes from here, from this. You know how many rekim, how many levels of atmosphere it goes through? Firmament, it goes until the throne of Hashem. From here, if a person... It says it tears the judgment of a person. It goes until the throne of Hashem. So what is this tzaka, this cry? You don't need even to say words. When a person is holy, his heart is clean with Hashem. He doesn't deceive anyone. Do you understand? He can deceive people, God forbid. But God sees everything. He cannot deceive God. A person who deceives people, you know what he does? Only harm to himself. לרמות, לשקר. He only deceives himself, and he gets punished for that, because God says, I don't like those people, God says. You're not allowed to do that. So if a person is clean with Hashem, when he shouts from the bottom of his heart, even without saying even a word, that's tefillah d'oraita, that's a prayer from the Torah. It's not tefillah de Rabanit, the tefillah d'oraita. Without saying anything, he tears his judgment like it wasn't there anymore. And the Arizal says this, listen very carefully. Rabbi Yitzchak Amar, גדולה צעקה שמושלת על מידת הדין של מעלה. Which means a cry can control judgment up there in the next world. Control judgment, do you understand?
Cry when you talk in your words, right?
When you shout to Hashem, when you cry to Hashem, you don't even need words. But it comes from the bottom of your heart. When you mean it from at that moment you tear everything until you come to the throne of Hashem. It comes up to the throne of Hashem. But this is from really a true person that his mouth and his heart are even. And then it says that Rabbi Yosei Amar, גדולה צעקה שמושלת בעולם הזה ובעולם הבא. It says that tzaka, the shout, this cry, is also controlling this world and the next world. That person, everything that he asks from Hashem will be. Do you understand?
את לא צריכה לבכות?
אני אומרת, זה בכי, זה צעקה מהלב, שאת קוראת את כל הרקיעים. זה בכי בלי להוציא אף מילה. לא צריך להוציא אפילו מילה. מספיק שזה בא from your bottom of your heart. So how come? I would like to tell you. If you look at the Pardes, look at the word Sa'ak. Tzadik in numerical value is 90. Ayin is 70. Kuf is 100. How much is it?
260.
260.
Wow, 10 times.
When a person shouts, it's 26 times 10. It's 10 times the name of God. This shout that comes from the bottom of the heart is the name of God, the Kedusha. In holiness, the name of God, 10 times the name of God. When a person shouts from the bottom of his heart, and it's more than that. It says in Chumash Shmot, "Vayhi bayamim ahem ve'anchu bnei Yisrael min ha'avodah vayiz'aku," when the children of Israel were in Egypt, and they couldn't bear anymore the work in Egypt, all of the hard slavery in Egypt. It says, vayiz'aku, they were shouting to Hashem. Ne'enchu ve'z'aku. What is a za'aka? Za'aka is also a shout. Look at the word za'aka. In numerical value, Zayin is 7, Ayin is 70, Kuf is 100, and Hey is 5. How much is it together? 182. You know what is 182? If we take the word Elokim, this equals 86. Aleph is 1, Lamed is 30. This is Hey, okay? Hey is 5. I write it with Kuf in order that I can wipe the board. Yud is 10 and Mem is 40. Together it's 86. When you multiply 86 by 2, twice 86, how much is it? 172. 172. Now if you add all the letters of Elokim twice, Elokim has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters. Twice, the 10 letters, you have 182. This, in the Za'aka, you can see judgment, and not only judgment, twice judgment, with the 10 letters, like 10 dibrot, the 10 commandments. But you know what is Za'aka also? What is 182? 182 is Yaakov. Look how beautiful it is. Yaakov Avinu. Kuf is 100, Ayin is 70, Yud is 10, and Bet is 2. Together it's 182. And you know how we can soften the judgments, the 2 times Elokim, by the Za'aka. How come? You know how much, what is also 182? 182 is 7 times 26. 26 is Yud Kei Vav Kei, is the name of God.
What is 86? From where
What?
From where
26, 7 times 26. 86 is Elokim. Okay, so you can see that we take the word Elokim, which means judgment.
I missed you here. Why 2 times Elokim? Why 2 times 86 you did?
Because 2 times 86 is 172, and the 10 letters of Elokim twice, 5 letters of Elokim, you count the letters. Aleph is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? Twice it's 10, you have 182, which means it's judgment. How do you tear this judgment?
No, I don't understand that how. 86, why you multiply it twice?
Because it's twice the name Elokim.
Where?
Inside this 182.
Oh,
Yes, inside 182, which means the Za'aka would tear judgment. Yeah, I would like to show you how it tears judgment.
Elokim, Kuf is 100, right?
No, it's Hey. I write Kuf because I will need to wipe the board. Okay? I'm telling you, I write Kuf because I need to wipe the board. But you know it's Hey. I'm writing 5 because it's Hey. So when you take, I'm showing you how we tear judgment by the shout to Hashem. So when you see over here, the shout to Hashem, we have twice the name Elokim. Elokim is the name of judgment. How do we tear that? 182 is also the name of Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu protects us. But 182 is more than that. Yaakov Avinu is 7 times 26. 7 times, which means the creation. God created the world in 6 days, and the 7th day He rested. It's 7 times. Look over here. This is the creation. It's 7 times the name of God of mercy. Yud Kei Vav Kei is mercy of Hashem. This is how we tear. I'm showing you from the Pardes how this shout of Leah changed everything. She became Yaakov's wife even before Rachel became his wife. Everything. She was supposed to marry Esav. She changed everything around her. You understand that we are her children. We have also the power to change everything around us. By doing tshuva to Hashem, by coming forth towards Hashem, by doing His will in this world, and by being true to Hashem and to other people around us. It says, because I already told you the Arizal, it's a wonderful question. I would like to... It's a wonderful question. I have to tell you, dear women, she asked, how come Laban, such a person, that he cheated so much? Everything was, with Orma. Nothing is in truth. He doesn't come to a person. Everything is upside down with him. He cheats. He comes from the eye. He doesn't come straight. He goes in this way to a person. How come he had two righteous daughters? His father Betuel also had Rivka, and she was very righteous. It's like a rose in between the thorns. The thorns is the Sitra Achra. Sitra, which means the evil spirit, which has angels. They need to be fed. Arizal says, how do those evil spirits feed themselves? By righteous souls that are inside them. God, what does He do? He takes those souls in the right moment out of those thorns. This is exactly what happened over here. Rivka told her son, go to my brother. Run away from Esav so he won't kill you. His father told him, go to Rivka's brother, and from there you'll take a wife. But his mother told him, you will see when you come to the well, if you will see one of his daughters and she looks like me, you'll know this is your wife. So when he saw her the first time, he started crying. He kissed her on her forehead and he cried. He cried because he knew that the prophecy of his mother was true. She sent him. He knew that this is his wife. This is the woman that from her he is going to build all of his house. But he did not know that God had more things for him. God had, a special part for him. It wouldn't be only Rachel. He would marry Leah. He would marry Zilpah. He would marry Bilhah. His intention was to marry Rachel. But because of the prayer of Leah, everything changed. She prayed before Rachel, and that's why she received, her prayers were answered before Rachel. It says when she couldn't also bear children. She was also a kara. So it says...
How do they know if somebody was a kara before she even got married?
No, she got married. She couldn't bear children. As כתוב שהייתה כרה. And it's written that she was snua. She was hated. And you know that the Torah does not use such words. You remember that when the animals came into the ark, התיבה של נוח, it says that the pure animals came in and the non-pure animals. לא כתבו טמאות, כתבו לא טהורות. Which means the Torah uses good language, positive language. It does not use language like snua, hated. So it's a big question mark. And it says that Leah felt herself like she was hated. Why? Because she said, God, I don't have children. I got married to Yaakov. And I wanted children from this righteous person. I wanted to be part of the building of the house of Israel. But I don't have children. You know what happens? Everybody in her community said, wow, we thought that this is a big chassidah, a big righteous woman. But now we know she cheated her sister. She got married to Yaakov and God did not give her children. So it means that she's not pure. She just made herself. She was like playing that she's chassidah in front of all of us, that she's very righteous. But she's not truly righteous. And then it says that God wanted to give her children. She was davening to Hashem. And the angels came to Hashem. They said, God, how can you give her children? She's going to have her son that is Shimon. And from Shimon there will be Zimri ben Salu, the president of the tribe of Shimon, Zimri ben Salu. Because of him, 24,000 children of Israel are going to be killed. She does not deserve to be pregnant. And God said, no, I'm listening to her prayers now. Whatever she prays now, this is what I listen to. I'm going to listen because she's righteous. Look at her prayers. They come until my throne. Most of our prayers, Shalom Edah, do not go to the throne of Hashem. They go aside. You know who eats from that? The Sitra Achra, the evil spirits, and all of the angels go. They eat from. Why? Because in order that the prayer will be answered, that it will go truly till under the throne of Hashem, we need to be clean in our hearts. What do I mean clean in our hearts? We shouldn't be jealous of other people's income. We shouldn't be jealous of other people's appearance. We shouldn't be jealous of other people's possessions. We shouldn't be, all of this shouldn't, we should not, because then there are shells over our souls. We are not clean to speak to Hashem. And then when we come, God forbid, and we speak also Lashon Hara before we said a blessing, before we did a mitzvah, oy va'avoy. All of this goes to the Sitra Achra. It eats from every blessing. That's why I told you before you daven, before you do a mitzvah, before you do a maaseh tov, a good deed, say L'Shem Yichud Kedusha Berichu. It's very important. Or say, it's very important. I'll write it at the end of the lesson. I'll write it on the board. You say that in order that you know we are only human beings. So we can, אנחנו מועדים. We are always, God forbid, we do something sometimes that are not so good. And we do not, sometimes we do not even notice it. Only at the end of the day when we sit with ourselves and we do cheshbon nefesh, then we sit and then we think, wow, I don't think that I did this and that. You know, but during that day you did mitzvot. And each mitzvah, instead of going to Hashem, it goes to the bad spirits. And we shouldn't do that. That's why it's very important that we'll lechaben, that everything we'll do, we go to Hashem. And it's very important that a person will do tshuva every day. Every day that goes, because 24 hours you can take this evil thing that you did off of you. The more time it's on you, the shell becomes very hard, and it's very hard to take it off of you. The shell of the sin, it's very hard. If, God forbid, you hurt someone at that moment, or at least a few hours later, go to him and say sorry. You shouldn't be ashamed to say sorry. You should be afraid. All of us should be afraid of Hashem, not from human beings. Human beings are here. We don't know what will happen with us in another second. Nobody knows. Only Hashem knows. So you shouldn't be afraid of human beings. Adraba ve'adraba. It's a big heart. It's a big soul to know and come to a person and say, sorry, I think maybe I hurt you. Please, mechila. It's very important, because the more time that you stay and do not say because you're ashamed, you know, it's not ma'ani avo. I'll come to him and say that I'm sorry, I spoke to him. Then he will know I spoke badly, or maybe he didn't think like this. We have, a lot of politics in our heads. This is a bad thing, this politics. But we have a lot of reasonable politics in our heads. It's not good. Take it out of the mathematical equation. It's not good. In order that we won't have shells on our souls, because we came to this world to do this fixing. And we don't need this shell above us. So we need to take it off of us. Don't be ashamed. You shouldn't be afraid. Only from God. It says, מי שאינו מפחד מאחד, מפחד מכל אחד. He who is not afraid from Echad, from God, Akadosh Baruch Hu, he's afraid of every human being. Why? Because he's controlled by nature. Do you understand? He's not controlled by God. He directly is controlled by the Teva. And what is Teva? Teva in Hebrew, look, Zetvi'ah. Tvi'ah. It means that you sink inside everything that happens in this world. If you have, God forbid, trials, if you have sickness, you are sinking in it, because you are sinking in everything that nature already was built like that. And in nature, the strong win and the weak do not win. That we are the children of Israel. We are above the luck. Me'al mazal. We are above nature. We receive. This is our gift. For example, all of the human beings, all over the world are the creation of Hashem. B'tzelem Elokim, all of the Adam, all of them, the Goyim and us. The only difference that is between the Goyim and us, that we have above, we're going to speak when we'll do the letters, but I'm just giving you in order to know, that we are above the Nefesh Atzilut, which means the Nefesh has some parts. I told you that the Neshama has 5 parts. But inside each part there are also small parts. So the Goyim have the Nefesh, we also have a Nefesh. But we received also Ruach, Neshama, Yechidah, Vechaya, only the children of Israel. And why? You know why? It's not because that we look beautiful or not look beautiful. It's not because of our parents. I'll explain. We have also Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, Veyechidah, which the Goyim do not have. Why? God gave this to us. This is by the Zohar Kadosh. God gave us those parts of the soul in order that we'll have the ability to know the Torah, to study the Torah, and to fulfill it. Because the whole world stands on the Torah. Bereshit bara Elokim. Reshit is the beginning of the children of Israel and the Torah. This is what we came to do in this world. Period. We came in order to help God with the creation. Every day the creation renews itself. How does it renew itself? By the words of the Torah, by us studying the Torah. So that's why we received more of the neshama than others. Because this is what we have. So when a person does not fulfill the Torah, a Jewish person, for example, does not fulfill the Torah, so he is in the level now of a goy. But he has the ability inside him to go to a higher level because he was born Jewish. You understand? The ability is still inside, like a seed of an apple tree. The seed has the ability of the apple. Everything, the branches, everything, the apples, everything is in the seed. So it's in the seed of a Jewish person. It's only a matter of time that this Jewish person will wake up. And once he wakes up, all this ability flows from him. And then he helps God with the creation by studying the Torah. Do you understand? This is the essence of us. And I would like to tell you that when we say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, the word Echad, look over here. The word Echad gives us the essence of all of the children of Israel. It says, Shema Yisrael, Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. So the word Echad is the essence of the whole house of Yaakov. Look very carefully. We see that Aleph, I told you, is the name of God. Vav, and it has two Yudim, up here and up here. Aleph resembles also Yaakov. How do we know? Because it's written, Ish tam yoshev oalim. He's an honest person who sits in tents. What kind of tent? In between tents. The tents of whom? Avraham Avinu, over here, Avraham, and Yitzchak. Why did I write over here Avraham? Because this is the right side of the Aleph, and this is the left side. This is the side of right chesed, kindness, and this is the side of din. Then it says Yoshev Oalim, between what tents? Between the tent of Rachel and Leah. Rachel and Leah. This is Yaakov. Look how beautiful it is. So in the Aleph we already have it. You see, Abraham, Rachel, Leah, Yitzchak. And how did Abraham Avinu worship Hashem? He worshipped Hashem with chesed. With chesed. How did Yitzchak worship Hashem? He worshipped Him with judgment. His measure was judgment. And how do we know that his wives just completed him? Abraham Avinu had Sarah. She was judgment. She was the one who told him, take Ishmael and throw him away from our house because he's not a good influence on our son. And God told him, listen to her because she is judgment. She's the one that completes him with judgment. So he was chesed, she was judgment. Yitzchak was judgment and Rivka was chesed. They were completing each other. But Yaakov Avinu worshipped Hashem in the measure of Tiferet. Yaakov was Tiferet. Tiferet is the combination between Rachamim, mercy, kindness, and Din. He had both of them. That's why he had Rachel and Leah, because both of them, one was Chesed, one was Din. They were completing him. So you see over here that the Aleph resembles also Yaakov Avinu. And then what is the Chet and what is the Dalet? Chet in numerical value is 8. Dalet is 4. Together it's 12 tribes. 12 months, 12 tribes. And now let's look. How many children did Rachel and Leah have? Rachel had 2. Leah had 6. Okay, let's look at them. We had Reuven, Shimon, Levi, that's Leah, Levi. And then we had Yehudah. After Yehudah she had Issachar. And then she had Zvulun, with 6 children. Rachel had Yosef and Binyamin. Together, how much did they have? How many did they have? 8 children. This is the Chet. 8 children. How many do the Zilpah and Bilhah have? Look how beautiful it is. They had Dan, Naphtali. This is from Bilhah. And then Zilpah had Gad ve'Asher. How many children? 4, exactly. This is the Dalet. This is the 4. So even in the word echad, when we say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, we are בעצם מכוונים to the whole house of the children of Israel. All the 12 tribes of the children of Israel are combined in the word echad. So, איפה? יששכר וזבולון. יששכר, זבולון, ואחר כך יוסף ובנימין של רחל. So look how beautiful. Everything is combined inside. It's in the essence of it. אחד, את הדלת להדגיש. צריך את הדלת להדגיש. And it says, it's a good question. You ask me here why when we say echad, we say you have to say the dalet with adgasha. Da, ממש צריך לשמוע. Why? Because of קוצו של דלת, חודו של דלת. דלת, the Sofer Stam writes it like this, and Reish is like this. The Sitra Achra wants us to mix up between Daled and Reish. If you put over here Reish, Chas v'Shalom, it's not Echad, זה אחר. לכן it's very important to say the Daled, בקוצו של Daled. It's very important. That's why, because אחר means, God forbid, a different God. And Echad is the one and only one, the owner of this vineyard, of this whole world, the owner of the universe. This is God. And we are so privileged to be His daughters. You know, it's such a pity that sometimes some of us do not understand that it's a privilege to be Jew. Because once we are Jewish, we are under the throne of Hashem. All of the souls come really from a very high place of Jewish people. And we, you know, sometimes it's like a son of a king or a daughter of a king that they don't want to be queens and kings. They will prefer to be slaves. And they say, we should do what the other nations do. But they do not understand the essence of the Jew. If they would have understood it, they would not even say that. It's unbelievable even to say that. Because of that, we need to feel the essence. And it says in the Gemara, I made also notes of the Gemara, so I would like to give you some of them. And it says like this, וללבן, בראשית רבה, it says like this, ללבן שתי בנות, זו העמידה אלופים וזו העמידה אלופים. It's written like this, הגדולה לאה ושם הקטנה רחל. And it says, why did they write הגדולה לאה? Can I wipe the board a little bit?
Not all of it, in the bottom, no.
Okay. And it says, why it's written הגדולה לאה? הגדולה. That Lavan has two daughters, הגדולה לאה והקטנה רחל. מה?
הוא היה בן של מי לבן?
בתואל ארמי. בתואל ארמי. I would like to, ארמים, הופכים את האותיות זה רמאי. אז ידעו ישר שהוא... I would like to tell you know what? She asked about Lavan. When he saw Yaakov, I would like to tell you, dear women, when he saw Yaakov, he said to himself, I remember that Eliezer, the slave of Avraham Avinu, when he came, he had 10 camels, good food, jewelry, gold. He was very rich. So now that he heard that Yaakov came, he said, I'm sure he is going to come with a lot of precious things. So he ran towards him. Because he wanted his money. He said, I will take his money. He ran. So he came, he saw, he doesn't have any camels, he doesn't have anything. But he said, you know what? Maybe he has his money with a belt over here. So he hugged him. Once he was hugging him, he was feeling him to see if he has, around his waist, the money. But he saw he doesn't have money. He said, he's wise, Yaakov. All of the precious stones he put in his mouth. So what did he do? He kissed him on both cheeks to see that he doesn't have in his mouth. It's not because, it seems like he kissed him because he's a relative. He's the son of his sister. But he was checking him up to see where the money is. Where did he put the money? So I would like... It says... Let's continue. So I would like to continue with, so it says that Lavan had two daughters. One was the oldest, Leah, and one was the youngest, Rachel. And the Midrash says, why it's written Gdola Leah V'Ktana Rachel? So it says because it's not only by the pshat that they were twins, but she was first and she was second. But it's more than that. That she had the biggest presence. What kind of Gdola b'matanot it means? But presence. She was big in presence. What kind? Leah. Leah ita Gdola b'matanot. What kind of presence did she have? So look how beautiful it is. The presence that she, because of her davening, because of her prayers to Hashem, the presence she received was malchut and keuna. Keuna. Look how beautiful it is. From her Shevet Yehuda, which means Mashiach ben David. From her Shevet Levi, it's Kohanim and Nevi'im. She received big presents that will stay forever. And Ad Achrit Ha'amim B'achar Kach. Forever. From her came Yehuda, Mashiach ben David. This is the kingdom of the children of Israel. From her came Levi. Those are all the priests and Levi'im that work Hashem. Those are big presents. Those are huge presents. And she and Rachel was ktana because she had small presents. What kind of presents? She had Mashiach ben Yosef, and she had also Shaul, which was a king only for apparently a short time. He's from the tribe of Binyamin. She had Yoshua from the tribe of Ephraim, which was also a small present. She had Gidon that helped the children of Israel in the book of Judges. He was from Shevet Menashe. Those are the children of Yosef. You see? Yoshua, Gidon, that comes from the tribe of... She had also Mordechai Yehudi, Mordechai and Esther. Mordechai and Esther, both of them from her descendants, Rachel Imeinu. Mordechai and Esther, both of them the tribe of Binyamin. But this also for a short time. But Leah has for generations, Leviim, Kehuna, which this is forever. It doesn't stop. Malchut וכהונה. כהונה זה כהן בלוי, יש לה כהנים. She had something that was forever. It's endless. It does not stop. It's endless. This is the kehuna and the malchut. And she had also big sons. And more than that, she had also Eliyahu Navi that came from her Rachel. And you know where we know that about Eliyahu Navi Merachel? Eliyahu Navi מהצאצאים שלה. Do you know how do we know that? Look, it's written, it's beautiful. This is...
over there is so much written, I said. Under Rachel, who came out?
יש לנו ככה, משיח בן יוסף. יש לנו את יוסף הצדיק, יוסף הצדיק that fed the whole world. We have also Mordechai and Esther from the tribe of Binyamin. But everything is for a short time, a period of time. And we have Shaul HaMelech from the tribe of Binyamin. We have Yoshua from the tribe of Ephraim that conquered the land of Israel, the children of Israel. And we had Gidon from Shoftim, that over there from the tribe of Menashe. We can see, but everyone that came out of Rachel was for a period of time, a short time. But from Leah, her presence was so big because they were endless. They continued endlessly. And I would like to show you, just a minute, I'll find it and I will show it to you.
I love you for the
And it's written like this. Vatomer El Yaakov. Rachel says to Yaakov. Shh. It says Vatomer Rachel. It's written like this. Vatera Rachel ki lo yalda. Rachel saw that she's childless. She doesn't have children. And lo yalda leYaakov. She didn't bear his children. Vatekane Rachel ba'achota. She was jealous of her sister. She said, "Wow, she's so righteous and I'm not." That's what Rachel said. She's so righteous. She bears children, 4 children already. She had Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda. And you can see by the names that she gave them, Leah. I have to tell you, it says like this. when she gave birth to Reuven, she calls him Reuven. Ki ra'a Hashem ba'oni ka'ata yo'avani ishi. God saw that I'm so miserable. Now my husband is going to love me. That's why she called him Reuven. Reuven milshon ra'ah. He saw Hashem. And then when she gave birth to Shimon, she says like this. It says, Ki shama Hashem ki snua anochi. God listened. Shama, milshon shama, Shimon. Shama, God listened that I'm hated. I feel that I'm hated. My husband does not love me like he loves Rachel. And then when she has Levi, listen what she says. She says, Apam yelavei ishi elai ki eladitu lo shlosha banim. She says, now my husband is going to come with me because I can't bear two children, two babies with my hands and another one. He has to come to me. Look how she wanted the love of Yaakov. And then it says, when she had Yehuda, she said, Vatomer apam odet Hashem. I'm going to bless Hashem. Thank you, Hashem, for giving me another son. And you know the Midrash says she was the first person to bless Hashem for something that He gave her. Until then, nobody blessed Hashem for something that He gave them. Noach blessed Hashem. He blessed Hashem on the name of Shem. But it's not for something that He gave him. She was the first woman in all of them, and the first out of women and men, to bless Hashem for what He gave her. And then we see that Rachel comes and she's jealous of us. She says, wow, maybe she's more righteous. This is a good jealousy. Kinat sofrim tarbe chokhmah. You know, every midah, every measure, every measure that we have can be good and it can not be good. When we have jealousy, it can be a very bad thing, but on the other side, it can be very good. If we are jealous of someone that knows Torah, we would want to study more, we would want to make ourselves scholars. So this is good jealousy. And she was jealous of the good deeds of her sister. She says, maybe I don't do enough deeds for Hashem. Maybe I need to work harder. So you know, it's there was a very harsh saying between her and Yaakov Avinu. She starts and says, Vatomer el Yaakov. I would like to write. I can wipe the board?
Yeah.
Okay.
מי ותומר, לאה או...
Rachel. She's jealous of Leah. Leah has already 4 children, and now she tells Yaakov, Rachel. Vatomer, I will write it. Vatomer el Yaakov. Vatomer el Yaakov. Hava li banim. She says to Yaakov, I want sons. I want sons from you righteous person. And if you will look, Vatomer, the first letters of each word, you will see it's Eliyahu Hanavi. She tells him, it combines to Eliyahu. She tells him, you know, from my descendants should come Eliyahu Hanavi. By prophecy I can see that. Look how beautiful it is. She tells him, I know that I was supposed to bear 12 sons. Look. Hey, I told you it's 5 and 2, together it's 12. Havali, 12. She tells him all of these hints in one sentence. She says, God, I know. I was supposed to bear 12. More than that. I know, she says, that my son should be the oldest of your sons. He should be Bechor le'Abba shelo. And yet she didn't bear the Bechor. She gave birth to Yosef, which wasn't the Bechor. He wasn't the firstborn. Reuven was the firstborn. But what did Yaakov do? He switched between them. He gave the firstborn, the rights of the firstborn to Yosef. We see that in Parashat Vayechi. We gave those rights of the firstborn to Yosef. He was supposed to be the firstborn. It was supposed to be by Hashem, but because of the prayers of Leah, she tore the judgment off of her Leah. Look what a prayer can do. She tore her judgment. That's why she gave birth. And Leah was so happy with Reuven. Leah in prophecy saw that Reuven won't stay the first. All of his rights will go to Yosef. And she says, look at the difference between my son Reuven, ma ben achi leben chami, my son Reuven and Esav. What is the difference? Esav gave by choice the rights of the firstborn to Yaakov, by choice. They signed a treaty that he gives the rights of the firstborn to Yaakov. They ate a meal with that. By choice he gave him. Oh, he said, why do I need the rights of the firstborn? Yeah, he did not care about it. And then he wanted to kill Yaakov because of that. And Reuben, Yaakov Avinu took the rights of the firstborn and gave it to Yosef, but he was not jealous. He was the one that saved Yosef from the brothers when they wanted to kill him. Look how he wasn't jealous of that. So he said, look what good measures did Reuben have. He wasn't jealous, so she was very happy. She already knew, because she knew that the firstborn was supposed to be Yosef. And the question, and if you look over here, it says, Rachel tells Yaakov Avinu, I want sons. And look what Yaakov tells her. Vayichar af Yaakov. Yaakov is angry with her. Listen very carefully. Oh, she says, Havali banim, give me sons. Ve'im ayin meta anochi. If I won't bear sons, I will be dead. I will die. And Katuv Vayichar af Yaakov, and Yaakov is angry with her. You know, it's not a small thing. Usually you don't see our forefathers get angry. Vayichar af Yaakov berachel, vayomer atachat Elokim anochi. He says, I'm instead of Hashem, asher mana mimech pri beten, that did not, God forbid, give you a child. He says to her, I have children, I have sons. I'm not instead of God. And it looks very weird. Yaakov Avinu will say to a woman that he loves with all of his heart, that he cried when he saw her. You know why he cried? One of the reasons that he cried is because that he knew that she's not going to be buried with him. So that's one of the reasons that he cried. So such a person will be so angry and will talk to her like this. It's very harsh. Those are harsh words. You know, a woman that wants a child and she sees all the others have children. You know, they feed their children, they hug them. It's very hard to see that. You know, that this essence, this feeling that comes inside of, God forbid, Shalom Neda Metzorot. That's why we bless them in the Tehillim, that they will have children. Shalom Neda. It's a very hard thing for a woman not to bear children. And Yaakov Avinu will say that to her. And it says that she tells him, Rachel says to him, it's not sure that she said, it says that the Midrash, by the Pshat, like she tried to use his love towards her. But it says it's not true. Yaakov Avinu was davening and praying for her all the time because he loved her. She was his essence. Because of her he married Leah, Zilpah, Bilhah, because of her. Because she was the cause. She was the essence of the Jewish house. Ken.
Why he answered this way?
I'll explain. I'm raising the questions in order to answer them. Shniya, Ken.
It's something that you said. It's the משהו שונה, but the question is that when Yaakov said that, like, how you are asking me to give you sons, I'm not a god, right? So this is very, I don't know, but I have to ask you. The in vitro, artificial insemination, when they are due, so it means they are going against God.
No, ma pitom. God gave us the ability in technology today to help women that cannot get pregnant.
Okay, because
this is from Hashem. This is from Hashem. It's not from us. Okay. We do not, we do not create new things in this world. We just see things that were already in this world. Discover them. We don't do yesh mi'ayin. Everything was already, like for example, the laser was. We knew about the laser in the beginning because God created the shamir in the Erev Shabbat, Ben Hashmashot, which means on the 6th day when He created the creation. Ben Hashmashot, He created the shamir. The shamir was a special worm that had the laser abilities, and that's how they built mamash laser. That's how they built the temple. That's how they built about the Kohen Gadol, all of the precious stones. This shamir did that. And I will tell you once the story about Shlomo HaMelech that sent Bnei Ben Yehuda to find this shamir. But let's continue. So the questions are very hard. How come Yaakov Avinu? And I would like to tell you, God treats His righteous people by chut ha'se'ara, by the thread of the throne. He treats them. God told him, "You didn't have mercy to answer like this to Rachel Imeinu." He says, "Don't worry. Her son will answer the same thing to your sons." And Yosef says to his brothers, just a minute. I put it somewhere. Midah keneged mi. So don't. Yes, that's why I'm telling you. Be careful from Hashem. Be aware. Be afraid of Hashem. Not from human beings, from Hashem. And then everything will be okay. איפה זה? It's should be long. Just a minute, just 1 minute I'll find it. אני אגמור עוד מעט, אל תלכי עוד כמה שניות, חכי, אני לא רוצה שתפסידי משהו שאני רוצה לתת. בסדר? Just a minute, I have to find it to show to you. כן, זה חייב להיות קשור, אחת בתוך השנייה. כן. רק שנייה, טוב, תביא לי רק למצוא את ה... Here, listen, when after they bury Yaakov Avinu, his brothers come to him and they tell him, וילכו גם אחיו ויפלו לפניו. They bow to him, they bow to Yosef. And they say, ואמרו, הננו לך עבדים, we are willing to be your slaves, because they think that now that Yaakov Avinu passed away, now he's going to treat them badly, Yosef. And he says, ויאמר אליהם יוסף, אל תיראו, don't be afraid, כי התחת אלוקים אני, exactly the same words that Yaakov said exactly. He says, התחת אלוקים אנוכי, Yaakov tells Rachel, and God tells him, because you told us to this poor woman, this is what her son is going to tell to your other sons. התחת אלוקים, מידה כנגד מידה. God treats them מידה כנגד, that's in Parashat Vayechi. Look how midah, and then it says, Yosef לאחים שלו, he says, התחת אלוקים אנוכי.
What is that?
Am I instead of Hashem? Can I take the... I'm not instead of Hashem. Hashem sent me over here in order to help all of you. I'm not going to revenge. So it says the same praise, the same thing, התחת אלוקים, exactly the same words. 3 words the same. God said, you told this poor woman, this is what her son is going to tell your other sons. But look at the beautiful... Why did she say that she's dead? She says, Im lo, it says, Ve'im ein meta anochi. Because she said there are 4 people that are considered dead in this world. One of them is a blind person. He's considered, by the Gemara it says, a someh nechshav kemet. He's considered like a dead person. The other thing is, God forbid, when a person has a lot of money and he loses everything. It's even worse than being poor. A person that is poor knows how to handle his life because he doesn't have money, so he knows how to handle his life. But a person that used to be rich and loses everything, it's like he's dead. That's how he feels. Because of the shame and everything that is meluvelezeh, that is connected with that. And then metzora, God forbid, a person that has leprosy is also considered dead. And the 4th thing, I told you 4 things. The 4th thing is a person that does not have sons. Also sons. Also considered dead. So Yaakov Avinu tells us, I'm telling you from the Torah Shebe'al Peh, from the Midrash, what the conversation between them was. So Yaakov Avinu says to her, listen, but a person that does not have sons is considered dead because because it means in the Midrash, it means only for a wicked person, not a righteous person, because a righteous person has sons. What are his sons? His toladot, his toladot are his good deeds and mitzvot. So a person does have it, even if he doesn't have children. If he's righteous, his good deed and mitzvot continue his life after him. But a wicked person, if he doesn't have a son that will say Kaddish after him, that will help him rise up levels in Gehinom and other places, so he can go afterwards to Gan Eden, he doesn't have any existence anymore in this world. Do you understand? A wicked person that does not have a son to say Kaddish over him, a person that did not remember that he's Jewish, that did not do anything, that did not do mitzvah, did not give tzedakah, and this is, he needs a son to say Kaddish, that he will, at least he will do something for his soul when it's not in this world. And then she says, but listen, okay, you say that you have sons. Let me finish, and I will, because some people need to go, and I have to use things that I want them to listen. And it says, so she tells him, but look at your father, Yitzchak, he davened for Rivka. And they didn't have children, but he says, listen, he davened for Rivka because both of them did not have children. Neither Yitzchak nor Rivka, both of them did not have children. So she says, but look at Abraham Avinu, he had Ishmael, and he davened for Sarah Imeinu. And he says, yes, he davened for Sarah Imeinu, he says, but that was after she gave him Hagar. She said after he gave him Tzarata, she gave him another woman, she gave Hagar. So she said, if this is the thing that I need to do in order to have sons, take Bilhah, and I will have sons. And there's a secret in the name Bilhah and why she also got pregnant from Rachel. But bli neder, when we'll speak about the letters, I will mention that. So bli neder. So she gave him Bilhah, and then after that we see that she had also children. But the essence of all of this parasha, of this story of Rachel and Leah, is about how did Leah marry Yaakov. Because Rachel told him, listen, my father is a cheater. He's going to cheat you. So Yaakov told him, I don't want you to bring me another Rachel from the marketplace instead of your daughter, or give me Leah instead of your daughter. I want this Rachel. And we're going to sign a treaty that I will work 7 years for you, and I will marry Rachel. And Lavan said, Tov titi oto lach metiti ota leacher shev imi. He says, it's better, look, he speaks like in a big question mark. It's better that I will give you my daughter instead of giving it to someone else. He does not mention names. He didn't say, it's better that I will give you Rachel to marry. He doesn't. He does not say, sit with me, because why did he want him with him? He saw, before that, Lavan lost almost all of his sheep. God made it that he will lose most of his sheep. And he fired all of the shepherds. And only Rachel was the one to go with the small amount of sheep that they had. And then they had problem with water. And there was a big stone over the well. And they needed all of the shepherds in order to raise this stone and to put it away. And when Yaakov came, with one hand he took the stone off. And the water came up for him. They didn't need even to take out the water. The water came up, and so they knew that he was righteous. So what did Lavan do? He went to the people of Haran. Listen, please pay attention, concentrate with me. He went to the people of Haran and he said to them, listen, he made, kinesotan, he gathered them. And then, I'm sorry, but my throat hurts. אני אומרת בשביל הדוס בשבילי
באמת סליחה.
את לא חצת בלי זה, אני חייבת להשמיע לך. So, I'm sorry. So I would like to tell you, so he gathered everyone in Haran and he told them, listen very carefully. You see this righteous person come to my house? You see how rich I am because of him? But all of us are rich. Because now we have water, everything is blessed by him. The water rises up on its own. We need to keep him with us. But look, he was mamash armumi. He said to them, listen, I'm going to give him Leah. And I know that he loves Rachel, that he will be willing to work 7 more years for her. So he will be 7 more years over here. But in order that I will know that he won't say a word, you have to give me money, that I will make the wedding. Look, he took their money in order to make his own celebration. So they gave him the money, and he prepared the celebration. But they felt that it's not right. On the day of the marriage, when they were singing Hileah. This is what the Sephardic people do. The Hileah. They were telling me, Hileah, that's the Lili. Listen very carefully. That comes from there. This minhag comes from there to tell him, this is Leah, this is not Rachel. Because they felt bad. They were not. That's the Lili. Wait, I didn't finish yet. So they were trying to tell, because they felt bad. They were not. They didn't want to cheat him like Lavan. So they wanted to try to tell him that, but he did not. He thought that they were celebrating celebrating with him. He did not understand that they are telling him this is Leah. And it says, also because of that, we do also a china. You know what china is? Yeah. China is a celebration before some of the adults do. Yeah, Moroccan, Temanim, Yemenite, Moroccan people do it. China is a celebration for the bride before she gets, like 4 days before she gets married, approximately. And what do? They take a special china, it's called, a special herbs. It's red, and they put it on the hand of the bride and bless her. Why? So there won't be any mistake. The groom will know this is his bride. It comes from here. They put, באים לוקחים קצת ביד ומברכים אותה, אבל הכל הקלה צריך להיות. היום אנחנו לוקחים בשביל ברכה. So this is part of the china in order to make a sign on the bride, so nobody will change her with another bride. So the groom will know this is my bride. Now when Leah came, listen, I would like to tell you, when Leah came, she was covered, all of her was covered with the inuma, kol, she was covered, he couldn't see her. And I would like to tell you, how come, wait, I would like to tell you something. You'll say, how come Leah, and on the next day when he knew that it was her, he was so angry, he told her, At Ramait ben Ramai, you're a cheater, the daughter of a cheater. How could you do this to me? And he says, I called you Rachel and you answered. I said words of love towards you and you answered. He says to her, how could you do that? She says, I learned it from you. When your father called you Esav, you said you're Esav. So I learned it from you that for a bar mitzvah, listen women, it's very, for a bar mitzvah, I know people need to go, they want to finish everything, at least another thing. So she says, I learned that for bar mitzvah, for a mitzvah thing that I wanted from a righteous person's sons, I wanted your son so I can be part of the building of the house of the home of Israel, Knesset Israel. I wanted to be part of it. So for bar mitzvah ze mutar. And then she said I had to respect my father, who said that I'm the oldest one, I should marry first. So, and the question is, we do not see, not in the written Torah, and not in the oral Torah, that he's angry with Rachel. Because you remember that I told you that Rachel told him that her father will cheat him. So he gave her signs. So he will know that she's Rachel. Rachel gave the signs to Leah. She gave the signs to Leah. How come wasn't he angry with her? How wasn't he? But why didn't he go to Rachel? How could you do this to me?
So Leah is not that bad.
Wait. Nobody. They are righteous, both of them. In a few minutes I'll give you answers. I'm raising the questions in order that you will understand the essence of what I'm telling you. It's not a regular story. It's only a few sentences in the written Torah, but it's a big story behind it. And I'm just giving you now a chodah shel machat I'm giving you. So it says that he was not in the oral Torah, not in the written Torah. It does not say that he was angry with Rachel. And the question is why? Because Rachel, think about it, Rachel wanted to dress up as a bride. Her father came, all the presents that Yaakov gave her, he gave it to Leah. Her father came, took the clothes off of her and put it on Leah. You know what is God forbid, the feeling that she loves Yaakov with all of her heart. She knows he worked 7 years, hard labor, for Lavan, for her to marry her. And on the day of the marriage, he takes, on the day of the wedding, he takes the simlat kala, the gown, and puts it on Leah. And she sees that, you know that feeling, God forbid, when you love someone so much with your heart. And then she decides, in order that her sister won't come to shame, יושבת ועושה בחשבון עם עצמה. She thinks, what shall I do? I can in a minute, I can blow everything up. But then my sister will come to shame. And instead of thinking of herself, she decides to give the signs to Leah, that she won't be shamed, that you know what will happen in the wedding? She gives this, and more than that, They are sleeping. They are intimate in the bed. She stays underneath the bed. And she speaks Bilkom Leah instead of Leah. Yaakov says words of love to Leah. She hears that he calls Rachel, Rachel. She's under the bed and she's answering back instead of Leah, so he won't know that this is Leah. And you can think that the pain that she suffers when she does that. You cannot imagine that even. זה לא נתפס בדעת.
לא שמעה מאיפה בכל...
לא, בגלל שהוא שתה, הוא היה שמח. He was happy. מתחת למיטה זה נמצא. So it says, why... זה היה תראה איזה נשים יקרות יש.
אני רוצה להגיד לך שבשום דיינסטי ובשום דלס לא היה אפשר
Now I would like to tell you. And it says, wait. Let me... I can't raise my voice. But I would like to continue. Dear women, it's important. So you can see the drama, the tragedy that we have here. It's not a regular thing. Rachel decided to sacrifice herself, her love, in order that her sister will not come to shame. And the question is why? And what is the merit of what did she do? This is a true leader. This is a leader. Rachel is a true leader. This is a leader that can conquer her own feelings and give from herself to her sister and then see her bear children. And she cannot, you know how hard it is for a woman? We are all women here. It's very hard. This is a and בעזרת השם הזכות שאת תגן עלינו ויתביא משיח תיתן במהרה בימינו אמן. And בעזרת השם אליהו הנביא זכור לטוב יגדי ושם לנו את הבשורות. So this is not a regular woman. So I would like, what is her merit? So it says when the Churban Bayit Higea, when the temple was destroyed, it says that Yirmiyahu HaNavi, God told Yirmiyahu HaNavi, he told him, Yirmiyahu, he says, go and call our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Come and tell them, he says, to cry. They know how to cry over the ruining of the temple. So Yirmiyahu is afraid to go to them, but he goes to them and tells them to wake up. And they wake up and they say, what happened? And he tells them, God calls you to him. So they say, what happened? He says, I don't know, because he was afraid that they will accuse him that because of him, in his time, look what happened to our children. The temple was ruined. Where were you? And then God tells him, go to Moshe Libriut. Go to Moshe Rabbeinu. But he says, I don't know where Moshe is. So he said, stand on the bank of the river Jordan and say, Ben Amram Kum, Ben Amram Kum, the son of Abraham, wake up. The son of Abraham, wake up. And then you'll see Moshe Rabbeinu. So he goes and he calls him. And Moshe says, what do you want from me? He says, God calls you. And he says, why does he call me? And he says, he calls you because he wants to speak to you, and I do not know the reason. Because he was afraid that Moshe Rabbeinu will also accuse him. So they come to Hashem and they see the ruining of the temple. And they are crying over the ruining of the temple. And it says that Avraham Avinu was tearing his beard and taking out his hair. And he was shouting to Hashem, Hashem, this is what you do to my children. I was the only person to recognize you in this world. And I was the only person to have a different language, the holy language. And this is what will happen. I took my son in order to sacrifice him for you. And this is what you do to me, he tells him. And God does not listen to his prayers. And then comes Yitzchak, and Yitzchak tells Hashem, I was willing to be sacrificed. I told my father to tie my hands and my legs, so I won't fight with him when he takes the sword in order to kill me. And this is what you do to my sons? And then he comes and he does not listen to his prayer. And then comes Yaakov Avinu. And he says, God, I suffered so much. Look what Lavan did to me, Esav did to me. Until I raised my children, I lost Yosef for so many years, 22 years. Look, and what happened to Dinah, what happened to Rachel, and all of this Tsar Gidul Banim, and you won't have mercy over my sons? And God does not listen to his prayer. And then comes Moshe Rabbeinu and says, God, I took your nation out of Egypt. I was suffering for them 40 years in the desert. And while I was suffering, I also told you when they had the sin, the golden calf sin, I told you, don't put me in your book. I was willing to sacrifice myself for your son. This is what you do to my sons. So to your sons, so God does not answer his prayers. Then listen very carefully. Then jumps Rachel. And this is for Achrit HaYamim. Rachel is buried on the way in Bethlehem, Baderech Ephrata. Until today people see her. When the children of Israel had the war with the Palestinians, she was also there to protect them, because she is there to speak for us. And she jumps, it says, kapsa, she does not come straight, she jumps. And she tells to her, באותה שעה קפצה רחל אימנו, our mother Rachel. This is Midrash Eicha Rabbah. And it says, לפני הקדוש ברוך הוא, she comes before Hashem and she says, ריבונו של עולם, God, she says, גלוי לפניך, שיעקב עבדני, אהבני, אהבה יתרה. Yaakov loved me very much. We cannot even pronounce it in words, she says. ועבד בשבילי לאבא 7 שנים. He worked for my father 7 years. וכשהשלימו אותם 7 שנים, והגיע הזמן נישואיהם, when those 7 years passed, and this was the time that I will get married, לבעלי, to my husband, my true husband, יעץ אבי להחליפני לבעלי בשביל אחותי. My father decided to change places between me and my sister, and he took out the gown that I needed to wear and put it on my sister. והקשה עליי הדבר עד מאוד כי נודע לי העצה. And it was so hard for me. I knew about what he's doing, everything. והודעתי לבעלי, and I told already my future husband that my father is a cheater, that he may cheat him. וכתוב, ומסרתי לו סימן שיכירני, and I gave him the signs that he will know who I am. שיכירני ביני ובין אחותי, that he will know to define between me and my sister, כדי שלא יוכל אבי להחליפני, that my father cannot exchange places between us. ולאחר כן ניחמתי בעצמי, but then I regretted, וסבלתי, and I suffered, את אהבתי, and all my passion I suffered, וריחמתי על אחותי, I had mercy for my sister, שלא תצא לחרפה, that she won't be shamed in front of the people. ולערב חילפו אחותי לבעלי בשבילי, and my father that night exchanged places between me and my sister. ומסרתי לאחותי כל הסימנים, I gave her all the signs שמסרתי לבעלי, that me and my future husband already had between us, כדי שיהיה סבור שהיא רחל, in order that he will think that she is רחל. ולא עוד, אלא שנכנסתי תחת המיטה שהיה שוכב עם אחותי. I came underneath the bed when he was lying and was intimate with my sister. והיה מדבר לה, he was speaking with her, והיא שותקת, and she's silent, ואני משיבתו, I am answering him. על כל דבר ודבר כדי שלא יכיר לכל אחותי. Everything he says, I'm answering him back, that he won't know that this is my sister. וגמלתי חסד עמה, I made a kindness with her. ולא קינא, and I was not jealous with her. And I didn't give her to be shamed in front of other people. ומה אני, she says, and I am, what am I? only שאני בשר ודם, that I'm only בשר, I'm only flesh and blood, עפר ואפר, dust and ashes. לא קינאתי לצרה שלי, I conquered my jealousy to my sister, ולא הוציא אותה לבושה ולחרפה, and I did not cause her shame. ואתה, she says to God, מלך חי וקיים, רחמן, and you are the King of Kings, you are the owner of this world, you are merciful. מפני מה קינאת לעבודת כוכבים שאין בה ממש? Why were you jealous of other gods that your children worship? You know it's nothing. Those gods are nothing. They are not true, she says. והגלת בניי, and you caused my children to go to exile. We're in exile until today. ונהרגו בחרב, and they were slaughtered by חרב, by swords. ועשו עדים בם כרצונם, and they did to them all the enemies whatever they wanted. מיד נתגלגלו רחמיו של הקדוש ברוך הוא. Immediately הקדוש ברוך הוא had mercy, and he said, בשבילך רחל, only for you רחל, אני מחזיר ישראל למקומן. I'm going to bring the children of Israel back to the land of Israel and build the third temple בעזרת השם. במהרה בימינו אמן. העוד הכתיב כה אמר השם כל ברמה נשמע נהי בכי תמרון רחל מבכה על בניה. Rachel is crying for all of her sons because all of the 12 tribes are considered the sons of Rachel. מעינה להנחם על בניה כי איננו כה אמר השם מלאי קולך מבכי ועינייך מן דמעה, he says, כי יש שכר לפעולתך.